All right, so we have a major address from greasy Gavin Newsom of California, and we're gonna watch this real quick. I haven't watched it yet, so I kind of want to get my raw reaction there. I will have the speed sped up a little bit because the less I have to listen to Gavin Newsom speak, the better. So I'm interested to see what he says here, and then after that, we're gonna briefly touch on a Fox News article of the juicy drama going on between him and President Trump. So without further ado, let's watch.
About the events of the last few days. This past weekend, federal agents conducted large-scale workplace raids in and around Los Angeles. Those raids continue as I speak. California is no stranger to immigration enforcement, but instead of focusing on undocumented immigrants with serious criminal records and people with final deportation orders, a strategy both parties have long supported, this administration is pushing mass deportations, indiscriminately targeting hardworking immigrant families, regardless of their roots or risk. What's happening right now is very...
That's true. And also, regardless of their actual immigration status, you have people who were on here between... sorry. I have a crazy dog behind me. You can't see her, but she's going crazy. What was I saying? Oh, you have the Trump administration actively revoking TPS status, asylum status from people from like Haiti, Afghanistan, very, very not good countries to go back to right now. So essentially people who are here legally are also a part of these mass deportations, along with people who are going through the legal process to be here, trying to get asylum status or whatever. That's why you're hearing so many stories of people getting abducted and deported as soon as they leave their immigration court hearing. Like, it's insane, just the depravity we are seeing here.
Very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot parking lot, they began grabbing people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb. A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions, a U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested, a 4-year-old girl taken, families separated, friends quite literally disappearing. In response, everyday Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right to free speech and assembly, to protest their government's actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. And with some exceptions, they were successful. Like many states, California is no stranger to this sort of unrest. We manage it regularly and with our own law enforcement. But this, again, was different. What then ensued was the use of tear gas, flashbang grenades, rubber bullets, federal agents detaining people and undermining their due process rights. Donald Trump, without consulting California law enforcement leaders, commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets, illegally and for no reason. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. That's when the downward spiral...
And I don't know if he mentions this or not, but I just want to touch on it real quick. The last time that the National Guard was federalized without a governor's request was, I want to say it was 1965 or somewhere about then, by Lyndon B. Johnson to protect civil rights activists in like the deep South. Along with that, kind of a separate thing, but Trump federalizing these National Guardsmen and the 2,000 he sent and however many more he's planning on sending, the ones that are there so far, he didn't provide them like with any food, water, sleeping accommodations or anything. So you're having these pictures come out of these National Guards people just sleeping on concrete floors in federal buildings. Like, it's insane. Talk about caring about our troops, right?
Spiral began. He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder. And the president, he did it on purpose. As the news spread throughout LA, anxiety for family and friends ramped up. Protests started again. By night, several dozen lawbreakers became violent and destructive. They vandalized property. They tried to assault police officers. Many of you have seen the video clips of cars burning on cable news. If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account. That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated, full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested, and we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Okay, yeah, here it goes with Gavin Newsom just being an absolute liberal coward. Instantly going to he's just spending this time lecturing these so-called violent protesters, completely ignoring the violence of, like, I mean, I guess he didn't completely ignore it, but just completely minimizing the violence that was started against them by the police and the National Guard. As I said in another video, go actually watch footage of people on the ground. In majority of cases, these are peaceful gatherings that that stay peaceful, and then all of a sudden the police come in and just start lobbing flashbangs and tear gas and pepper spray. Like, what do you expect? What do you expect to happen in that situation? So I think AOC had a good response to this when she was asked about it. She completely flipped it around on the reporter that was like, hey, what do you say about all these violent agitators or whatever? And she's just like, let's talk about the violent agitators in ICE.
Senator Fetterman said that your party loses the moral high ground when you guys refuse to condemn the violence that you were seeing in LA. What do you say to Senator Fetterman?
I mean, I think we should absolutely condemn the violence of ripping apart families, of ICE breaking the law, of them going into elementary schools and churches and raiding workplaces. And I absolutely condemn ICE's consistently illegal activity and the fact that they are they're also rounding up U.S. citizens and also documented people who are here legally with no regard for the court system.
Again, thanks to our law enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully, the situation was winding down and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. But that's not what Donald Trump wanted. He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety. He federalized another 2,000 Guard members. He deployed more than 700 active U.S. Marines. These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in LA, not in California, not anywhere. We're seeing unmarked cars in school parking lots, kids afraid of attending their own graduation. Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles, well beyond his stated intent to just go after violent and serious criminals. His agents are arresting dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses. That's just weakness masquerading as strength. Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities, they're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point. California will keep fighting. We'll keep fighting on behalf of our people, all of our people, including in the courts. Just yesterday, we filed a legal challenge to Donald Trump's reckless deployment of American troops to a major American city. Today, we sought an emergency court order to stop the use of the American military to engage in law enforcement activities across Los Angeles. If some of us could be snatched off the streets without a warrant, based only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe. Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but they do not stop there. Trump and his loyalists, they thrive on division because it allows them to take more power and exert even more control. And by the way, Trump, he's not opposed to lawlessness and violence as long as it serves him. What more evidence do we need than January 6th? Ask everyone. Take time, reflect on this perilous moment. A president who wants to be bound by no law or constitution, perpetuating a unified assault on American traditions. This is a president who in just over 140 days has fired government watchdogs that could hold him accountable for corruption and fraud. He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. And the threat of defunding them, at threat, he's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting law firms and the judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil society. He's calling for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to, in his own words, for getting elected. And we all know this Saturday, he's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday, just as other failed dictators have done in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in this nation. This is about all of us. This is about you. California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government. There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. The founding fathers, they didn't live and die to see this kind of moment. It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, you said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
All right. Yeah, he's absolutely correct on like 80% of it, but like you need to stop paying the lip service and giving into their framing about like, oh, we're gonna go after the violent ones or whatever. Just drop it. Just drop it. The focus needs to be on the terrorism that ICE is causing to communities, not only in California but over the entire country. Okay, just drop it. And you at some point, you just need to stop doing this the lip service in general and all this grandstanding. Do something. Take the gloves off. Trump just illegally federalized your National Guard. Why don't you order your National Guard to stand down? Do something. I don't care what kind of conflict or constitutional crisis that will put us in. We've been in one since January 20th. So, love of God, take the gloves off. Threaten to withhold federal taxes. You've already said in another statement like, hey, California pays or more in federal taxes in like federal dollars than it receives. Do something, okay? Because right now, all this grandstanding and all this is wrong. It's not going to do anything. Take action for the love of God. Oh God, I hate Gavin Newsom so much. Anyways, let's quickly go over this Fox article here. Trump brings receipts he called Newsom amid LA riots as California governor claims there wasn't even a voicemail. So you had this thing where Gavin Newsom is like, he never called me about sending in the Marines or the National Guard or whatever. And Trump's like, I did call him. I just caught him the other day. And let's read that because they kind of contradict themselves. Trump contradicts himself, and even Fox News contradicts themselves in, this own article. So this is what Trump said when he talked to Gavin Newsom. I told him to essentially get his ass in gear and stop the riots, which were out of control, which at this point they were not out of control. They started to get out of control when you stepped in. More than anything else, this shows what a liar he is. Said I never called. Trump provided a screenshot of the phone call dated June 7th at 1:23 a.m. White House Director of Communications Stephen Chung added in a comment to Fox Digital Tuesday afternoon, the president called Gavin Newsom to tell him to get his ass in gear. The governor has clearly decided to disgustingly side with the violent rioters instead of protecting Californians. The only liar here is Newsom, who continues to fail his state as he prioritizes doing interviews with leftist media to gaslight the public instead of helping his state. That's exactly what Trump's doing, but on a wider scale. He's gaslighting with the right-wing media instead of helping the fucking country. In fact, he's actively destroying it. Earlier Tuesday, Trump held an event addressing wildfire response and prevention from the Oval Office, and he fielded a handful of questions from the media regarding the ongoing anti-ICE riots in Los Angeles, telling a reporter that he spoke to Newsom a day ago. And that was on, what did that say? Earlier Tuesday, a day ago. And then a screenshot provided by Fox News of President Donald Trump's call to Newsom on June 7, 2025. And is it me, or does it just look like the most obviously photoshopped, like, fucking fake-ass screenshot I've ever seen in my life? Like, what the hell is this? And, like, okay, I might be completely ignorant here, but, like, shouldn't this be done through, like, a more official means of communications, like, that's actually recorded and monitored? Like, not your fucking cell phone. Anyways, okay, I could be wrong. That's just a side thought. Anyways, a day ago, I caught him and to tell him he's got to do a better job. He's done a bad job. even though the last time they spoke was June 7th, and it was June 10th when he said that. In response to the post on X, Newsom claimed Trump did not call him or leave a voicemail in the past day. There was no call, not even a voicemail. Americans should be alarmed that a president deploying Marines on their street doesn't even know who he's talking to. Newsom posted on X Tuesday afternoon, accompanied by a video of Trump in the Oval Office. This is a call from 3 days ago. The governor's press office added on X following the White House's pushback on Newsom's claim that Trump did not call. Newsom's office added in an email to Fox News Digital Tuesday that governor's comment is clearly in regards to the president's comment this morning of a day ago, adding that Newsom had already confirmed his Saturday phone call in an interview on Sunday. Yeah, like even Fox News is having troubles like skirting around and trying to like frame this in a way that makes Newsom look bad and Trump look good. So and like it's just funny to see all these right wingers like grandstand about this when like Trump is a serial liar when it comes to conversations with people that never happened, or people calling him or not calling him. Like we have so many countries calling in for trade deals, meanwhile none have called in, or his made up helicopter ride with Willie Brown, or the dozens of cases. Like I see this once a week where he's like, I know him very well. We speak all the time. They love me. We're on very close terms. Followed by the said person being like, I don't even know you, dog. We never talked once. And by the way, I hate you. And then like, this is a fun one. Trump saying that he talked to the president of the Virgin Islands. Like, dog, you are the president of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Anyways, I digress. Some fun little drama there. And overall, Gavin Newsom he's not doing enough to actually protect Californians. Like, dog. That's your National Guard. This is your Highway Patrol. This is your police. And you're actively letting them instigate situations on the ground and just tear gas and flashbang people who aren't being violent. And just what do you expect when you have a peaceful gathering and the police just come in and start rubber bulleting people and pepper spraying and flashbanging people? Of course, there's going to be agitation. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.